African Voices International, Freedom in Africa.
First of all, on behalf of the Global Freedom Board, I welcome you to the One Africa Freedom Dialogue, which is going to be a 4-week lecture on every Saturday. So every Saturday we will have various lecturers lecturing, and I'm beginning this Saturday. Next week we will have Freedom Legend Peter Ojifanu from Ghana. The next other week we will also have Freedom Legend Joe Metua from the Ugandan Anatomy. And the last week we will have Honorable Samuel Bannon from the Ugandan Anatomy, who's also a Freedom Legend and the CEO of African Voices International, Uganda. So on behalf of the Global Freedom Board, I welcome you to the first session of the One Africa Freedom Dialogue on the theme Transforming the Global Anatomy. Transforming the Global Anatomy. Transforming the Global Anatomy. We are beginning on the theme Transforming the Global Anatomy. Transforming the Global Anatomy. Now when we talk about transformation, what do we mean by transformation? We keep on hearing transformation everywhere. You go here, you go for various workshops, you keep on hearing transformation. What do you understand by the term transformation? Transformation simply means it's a form of amelioration which involves a metamorphosis from the old normal to the new normal for the effective function of our lives. It's a form of amelioration, Amelioration means something is getting better in your life. Things are getting better. It could be the economy, it could be your social life, it could be how things are going on in the political anatomy, wherever. While things are improving, it means it's a form of amelioration. So transformation is a form of amelioration which involves a metamorphosis from the old normal. Because I'm saying this because wherever you are, you imbibe the cultures of wherever you are. So you could be born in Uganda, you imbibe their traditions. If you were born in Ghana, you imbibe their traditions. And there's something positive to imbibe wherever you are. So you could be born in Nigeria, you imbibe something good there. If you were also born in probably maybe Lesotho, there's something good you also imbibe there. So it affects your lifestyle. So you are raised up in a different way. You get it. So that nature becomes your normal. But with transformation, there's a metamorphosis from the old normal to the new normal for the effective function of our lives. Because we can't be how we are throughout the whole of our lives, throughout the whole of our freedom journey. There must be a metamorphosis. There must be an amelioration, because we are freedom giants who are geared towards seeing to the rejuvenation of everyone. So there must be a form of amelioration which involves a metamorphosis from the old normal to the new normal. Now when we get to this new normal, we have to keep on adapting with it. Keep on adapting with it, adapting for the effective function of our lives. Yes, we need to be transformed at every point in time. We can't just say that we'll just stick to how we were. No, of course you may begin very well, but if you don't ensure a metamorphosis as you are growing, you will not be well applicable for the change we need to see in our society, because you must be well functionable at every point in time, so that at every desperate and emergent point in time, the society can be able to call upon. There must be a transformation within us. There must be a form of amelioration wherever you are. You must never stick to how you are. No, never. There must be a form of amelioration whereby things are always getting better, things are always improving, because at every point in time, the demands change. It must always be on point. And as freedom giants, there are so many things going on in our societies, in our nations, everywhere, in the global anatomy, and we can't just be as we are. No, there must be a consistent and a constant form of amelioration which involves a metamorphosis from our old normal to the new normal for the effective function of our lives, so that we can be of great use to the global anatomy. Now, when you look at our year of transformation, we have 4 elements in our year of transformation. If you've read what entails our year of transformation, we have actualization, we have a refulgence, we have reunification, and we also have an amalgamation. And today, I'll be touching on the amalgamation process. The amalgamation process. What about amalgamation? It simply means the collective unification of various constituents of an anatomy or a body for the effective functioning of that system. The collective unification the collective unification. So as a global anatomy, we have Asia, we have Africa, we have Europe, we have about 7 continents in the global anatomy, and there's supposed to be a collective unification so that we can all function well for the ordered amelioration of the global anatomy. Now, Africa has been left out in this amalgamation process. Africa has been left out. We've been left out, and it's so sad. Yes, we've been left out, and there are so many questions as to why we've been left out. You ask yourself why, and we have ourselves to blame for we being left out in this amalgamation process. We are part of the global anatomy. We are part of United Nations. We are part of so many blocks, but we are still left out. Looking at things realistically, we have been left out, and we have ourselves to blame because we've not been transformed. We've not been transformed, and that's why we have ourselves to blame. We don't respect ourselves. We don't respect who we are. Our national anatomy don't respect themselves. Our leaders, our presidents, our executives, our people don't respect themselves, and they just take everything just like that. They take everything just for normal. They just accept to be in mediocrity, and that's why things are how they are. Now, for an effective amelioration of the global anatomy, there must be an equitable collectivism of each constituent of the global anatomy. So, be it in Asia, be it in Europe, be it in Africa, once we are joining hands, there must be an equitable collectivism of each of the constituents. Yes. No continent can overrule over us. No, there must be respect for each other. But we don't respect ourselves. The African anatomy does not respect herself, and that's why things are how they are. Now, I'll tell you why things are why they are. Let's just come into let's just give a few examples. So that you get to understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Because if we want to indeed realize our independence, then we must be able to indeed respect ourselves, understand who we are, and work effectively for the independence that we really have achieved. Yes, we must believe in ourselves, and that's how the amalgamation can be truly realized. Because this amalgamation we are seeing is not a true amalgamation, it is a superiorist amalgamation, whereby various foreign anatomies are in control of other anatomies. So they see other anatomies as their slaves. And even though we've gained independence, we are still under neo-colonialist regime. So we see some of these foreign anatomies as our superpowers, as our super parents, and that's something that must be eschewed. We must see ourselves as each other's keeper, as our brothers, as our fellow partners, equally working together in equity, not in superiorism. No. And until we clear that, things will still be how it is. We will all be growing the national development, but at the end, we would see the receipts going into foreign anatomies. Yes. Now, one thing we've been lacking as an African anatomy is that we lack the effective use of our analogies. Analogies in African Voice International. We have excellence, we have patriotism, we have nationalism, we have discipline, and we have justice. Yes. We don't imbibe the analogies. That's why we are where we are. We're not nationalistic as a people. Yes. We don't identify ourselves with our traditions, with our country's codes and ethics. So we just allow anything to come against us. And if we don't accept ourselves by who we are, we don't identify ourselves by our realistic codes, how do we expect ourselves to be equally treated on the global table? How? If we don't respect ourselves for who we are, how do we expect fair deals wherever we are? We need to begin to respect ourselves as national anatomies in Africa for the equitable respect that we need to see. So we'll be well treated wherever we are. But we don't do this if we're not disciplined. We don't patronize our goods. We're not nationalistic. We don't do things in excellence. They'll always see us as people who are low, who don't have any essence, who don't have any unique traits to be able to cause a transformation. But until we begin to put in these traits, they will now begin to say that, wow, these people are exceptional, these people are different. And I believe that we must be able to associate with each other for an equitable negotiation wherever we are. So we need to respect ourselves. We need to be nationalistic freedom giants, nationalistic citizens, nationalistic people in the African anatomy. We need to do this. And it must be significant. It must reflect in everything we do. Wherever we are, We must show forth what we are made of. We must do things in excellence. We must really be people who are a reflection of our roots. We must identify ourselves with what we are made of. We just don't allow people to just come and say that we want to employ or imbibe or bring forth this policy here, and we say, okay, whatever will happen because we see them as better off. Come on. Why? And in the first place, it's because we don't, on the global table, show forth who we are. We don't show forth what we are made of. So they don't have any uneasiness trying to come to us and say that we won't just bring forth any stupid policy in our countries. Yes, because we don't respect ourselves. But when we begin to understand and accommodate ourselves based on our own traditions, based on the nationalistic analogy, based on the patriotic analogy, based on discipline, based on excellence, and we don't try to do things at various times, try to do this at this time, try to do this at this time, but we do things on principles, then indeed on the global table, we'll be equally respected and treated. And that's how we can be able to cause that transformation we need to cause. That's how we'll be able to be heard wherever we are. That's how indeed we can be able to bring forth that influence we need to bring. Yes. Let's just have a look at the US Africa Summit. Let's look at things that have been going on. Let's look at, the negotiations that have been going on. These leaders from America, they don't consult their foreign anatomy on anything that they want to do. They just come in. We just go to the table and they begin to tell us what they want to do. That's what we need to do. They don't give us a brown notice about what they want to speak with us about. They just come in because they think we have nothing in our mind. They think we are stupid. And that's because we don't show ourselves by the analogy that we're supposed to carry. We don't show that we're nationalistic citizens. We don't patronize ourselves. We don't respect ourselves. There's no excellence. There's no discipline. There's no justice amongst us. Yes. When we see leaders who are dictatorial, we don't let them face the rule of law. We just allow them to go just like that. So when we see that this is what's happening, how do you expect African anatomy to respect you? If you are in a family, you see that your mom and your dad are misbehaving, and you're in a neighborhood, how do you expect other neighbors to respect where you come from? You must first of all imbibe yourself with the analogies, with the roots, with the traditions, and that's how you respect it everywhere. So we need to first of all come to the grassroots of who we are and identify ourselves by our history. Yes, it's not only about independence. We must be consistent and be nationalistic people and identify ourselves by our roots, by our tradition, by our interest, by what we stand for. Yes, and begin to patronize them and begin to make sure there is excellence everywhere. Excellence involves order. It involves order. That means that at every point in time, there's supposed to be a reflection of what we stand for. Yes, not from January to July and we begin to get a little bit mediocre in August and we continue from September. Well, no, every second there's supposed to be excellence. There's supposed to be justice. There's supposed to be discipline amongst ourselves, and that's how indeed we can be respected on the global scene. I don't really like China goods, but let's just take into consideration the recent China Africa summit that took place, the FOCA. Let's just have a look at that. They give Africans promises about everything they want to see. If it's about investment, if it's about aid, they let us know everything before we go for the global meeting. So we have a promise about what we want to say, and we think about it before we come into agreements. Yes. Yeah, because they believe that there's something good from us, and we also believe there's something good from them. So there's a reciprocity. Yes. Unlike USA Africa Summit, whereby they just come and impose things upon us, they're exploiting us, they're manipulating us. And that's because we don't move with analogies. Yes. We don't recognize ourselves as people who must be recognized by a particular trait. So they just see us as stupid. And when we begin to recognize ourselves with a particular trait, with a particular analogy, with a particular system, with a particular character, then indeed we'll be respected, we'll be feared before addressed. So if we want to have an amalgamation, we just don't have to just go on a table like that. We need to have an amalgamation of equitability, whereby there is respect for each party. Yes. So the same respect that is given to the Asian continent is also given to the African continent. So we together as an anatomy function together in interdependence, whereby there's integrity amongst all anatomies for an effective function of the global anatomy. Yes. So we need to do this. We need to have this in mind wherever we are. We must have this in our mind. There must be equal terms of trade. We must be addressed respectably. And that's how indeed we can be able to transform the global anatomy. Yes, we must be able to respect ourselves. Respect ourselves. There must be a metamorphosis from the old normal, that old normal system of mediocrity that we've imbibed from childhood till now. There must be a metamorphosis from that old normal to a new system, which we have to become normal with, and it becomes our normal for the effective function of our lives. And now when we have this identity, that's how we can be able to indeed cause the leader change we need to cause. Otherwise, we will be having partnerships, but these partnerships will be based on modes of imperialism. So we need to be very careful. Nationalism involves sectionism. Yes, there are certain things that we need to be sectionist with, certain policies, certain codes, like LGBT. Yes, if we have policies, we know who we are, we know our roots, we know what we are characters with, and we don't imbibe them as laws in our constitutions. We don't ensure justice, we don't ensure discipline when people violate these rules. We don't showcase them in our flags, in our cultures. How do we expect to be respected? It means we don't really value our traditions. So any foreign anatomy can just come and say that whatever that we want to now impose a new policy, what we think, and we'll be able to give you about $1 million. So let's just go by this. And we'll also go by this. But one thing that the neo-colonial mentality that is imbibed within us seeks to preserve our rights. So preserve our rights meaning they'll give us the money we need, but in the actual core, they are decolonizing. They are colonizing our minds. They are making us subject to them. They are making us servants and slaves to them. Yes, so we can never come in freedom. So if we want to walk in freedom, then we must begin to actualize ourselves with analogies. Yes, we may have all the money from voice partnerships, from voice policies that foreign anatomies may want to bring to us, but in the end, we will fall short. We will fall short. If they say that, for example, they want to give us stadiums in various countries free of charge, and we, if only, would promote LGBT in our communities, we can say that after all, we'll try and have various measures to secure this. But they'll say that in that same state that they're building for us, they will now begin to have conferences to promote LGBT. So there's nothing free that imperialist leaders will give to us that will just serve for no altruistic purpose of theirs. At the end, we'll see that we'll be enslaved. So we must begin to respect ourselves. We must begin to respect ourselves and respect what we are made of and who we are. When FIFA said that they want to make every stadium in the world, in every country, in every national anatomy, have their stadiums named after Pele, how many African countries recognize this? A few countries have recognized this in Africa, but not every African country, because we don't respect their black skin. Even though Pele is not from Africa, he has African roots. Now, if someone like Zinedine Zidane died, and FIFA said that we want to have every stadium in Africa named after Zinedine Zidane, every country from west to east to south to northern Africa will name immediately a country, will name their stadium after Zinedine Zidane. That is very, very humiliating, because we don't respect what we are made of. We don't respect where we come from. We don't respect our roots. We don't work with analogies. Until we begin to do this, we will not see the freedom that we are supposed to have for the transformation of the global anatomy. Because until we are imbibed with ourselves, no one will truly admire what we are made of, for them to also buy our ideas and say, oh, okay, wow, truly, let's now begin to end LGBT in London, in America, in Canada, in other countries. So it depends on us. It depends on us to stand tall and not to settle for less wherever we are. And that's how there can be a true realization for the transformation course. So it begins with us. We just don't have just acclimate things like that and just allow things to just be wherever they are. No, you are the change. You are the change maker. You are the masterpiece. So if we want to see an amalgamation whereby all constituents of our personal anatomy are collectively united, then there must be respect for each anatomy. Not only for the European anatomy or for the Asian anatomy, but there's my respect for every anatomy, for African anatomy as well. And this is when our values are also considered, not considered halfly, but considered fully. So let us stand tall, let us believe in ourselves as freedom giants and work with analogies. Let us see to that we move from the old normal to the new normal and begin to adapt with it. Wherever we are. Let us make sure our voices are truly heard. And that's how, wherever we are, what we want to see will transcend and move through all the corners and all the corridors of the global anatomy. It's when we truly analyze our traits, when we truly analyze what we are made of. Yes. So let us begin to do this. Let us begin to stand tall. Whenever I go to places and I see whites around in Ghana, as where I live, and I see them trying to behave in a particular way, I don't want to submit myself to them. No, come on. At the end, you see them coming to you and give you that kind of credit. So it depends on us to respect who we are and stand tall through the process. And that's how indeed we can ensure an effective transformation of the global anatomy. It depends on us. Yes. So wherever you are, I see I see Freedom Giant Job Lazarus, I see Freedom Legend Halima. Wherever you are, let us begin to showcase what we are made of. Let us begin to showcase what we are made of. Let us begin to stand tall. Let us move forward, as Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, not to the east or to the west, but let us move forward. Let us move forward. Let it be a metamorphosis from the old normal to the new normal for the effective function of our life. And it is in this that indeed we can be realized for the effective influence we want to see in other anatomies. Yes, we don't have to just consider things for how they are and say like, okay, whatever will be. So let's just settle for this. No, we must make sure whatever deal we go into, we are respected. It's based on the lines of integrity, and that's how indeed, truly, the vision within us can rise. Yes, we don't have to bow down to anybody. No, never at all. No, we must value what we are and what we have. And that's how indeed we can see this transformation. So I'll end my message by first of all telling us that for the amelioration to occur, for that amelioration to take place, we must correlate with the analogies. We must identify ourselves by our codes, by our ethics, and those are what are called the analogies. We must be nationalistic, we must be patriotic, we must be people of discipline, we must be people of excellence, we must be people of justice. No matter what comes to our hearts, no matter the challenges, we must make sure we work with the analogies. And when we do this, when we stand tall with this, we'll be recognized on the global table. We'll be recognized on the global table. In next week, we'll be having Freedom Legend video. We'll be talking about other constraints within transformation. So we have to identify ourselves with who we are as freedom giants, as individuals. And when we do this, indeed, we'll see that indeed the vision that we want to have transcendent will be effective. So stand tall as freedom giants and make it happen. Freedom Uhuru. So I end and then treat all freedom giants to corroborate with analogies. Let us corroborate with analogies and stand tall. Let us corroborate with analogies and stand tall. No nationalism can say it's not linked with Pan-Africanism. So whatever we do as freedom giants, if you are in Nigeria, if you are in Uganda, if you are in Egypt, if you are being nationalistic, it's portraying the sentiments of Pan-Africanism. So you are defending where you come from, you are defending your roots. And when you defend your roots, when foreign anatomists want to have a deal with you, they want to have a contract with you, they'll respect you, and they'll come through on lines of integrity and not just to impose things on you and demean your intellectuality. So let us begin to make sure that we stand towards freedom giants with analogies. And that's how the true transformation can occur. Not just we just talking in global meetings, but we indeed ensuring and seeing to an influence from African anatomy to African anatomies. Yes. So that is my message for now. And I'm very glad that President Biden says that now he's thinking about adding Africa to the G20. I'm glad about that. And I believe that when things like this begin to happen, it shows that we really respect who we are, what we are made of. So let us stand tall for the freedom that needs to happen. Freedom.
African Voices International, Freedom in Africa.